Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Don't Let the Death of Your Loved Ones Be in Vain. Don't let the death of your loved ones be in vain. You see, individuals have lost loved ones, and there's a story, a powerful story, a testimony, if you will, that wasn't shared. There also is the tragedies that some cannot make any sense of, but God has a way of bringing our understanding of a situation into fruition. God has a way of leading us to speak the kind of words that is going to get some results, because we don't want to see another generation fall by the wayside, especially after seeing a loved one who could have avoided problems, but chose to go right into the threshold of them anyway. I'm here today to speak to someone who I know you are loving the deceased so very much. You are grieving so very much, but you got a story to tell. You have a story to tell, and you're not going to tell it in that way that, oh, pity, poor so-and-so. Oh, she was such a, oh, that beautiful soul. This story that you tell is the kind of story that you're going to teach the young people not to do in order to prepare them for their life history, story, goals, dreams, what have you. That young person is going to one day become older, and that person is going to have a history. You don't want them to look back and say, well, I should have known, or I could have been told, or so-and-so was close to me, but they never said. There's a story within a story when it comes to those who have departed from us. I will tell you that when I did my family history, I seen the life lessons in all of the tragedy. I seen where God himself showed me that he can take his hand off of individuals and allow them to become whatever they want to become, do whatever they want to do. That he loves us so much that he gives us all sorts of choices, whether good, bad, right, wrong, what have you. That he is not the type of dictator, robot, controlling whatever that is going to make us do what he wants. These individuals who had died, they were given opportunities, but the problem was that they played two sides of the fence. And that's one thing that you don't do. You don't play mama and play daddy. You see what I mean? You don't play God and then turn around and you want to play Satan too. And these individuals did just that. And when tragedy came, it came viciously. They could have died with just tubes up their nose and just quietly passed on. But instead, their deaths were put in the media. Their deaths will spread around the neighborhood. We even now will still talk about how they died. And the Lord said, you don't just talk about it, but you use what they went through to get through to the young people who are walking on the same path as they did. Young people playing two sides of the fence. Today I'll go to church. Tomorrow I'll praise Satan. Do what Satan wills. Be on the dark side. Be unrighteous. You do know what happened to your daddy. You do know what happened to your granddaddy. You do know what happens to people who like to play with both God and the devil. But then again, maybe you don't. So let me tell you this story. You see, you got to lead in with the story and then tell them what the life lesson is. They're dying in vain. Many folks dying in vain as we speak, tubes up their nose and slowly but surely passing away. And nobody has a story to tell for everybody who's visiting. Nobody is given a life lesson or two. You see why he's here? Because of all his eating. He didn't know how to put all of that in check. He didn't know how to go and do what he needed to do, or maybe he chose not to. Let's just be more real and honest and transparent. He chose not to. You see, sometimes you move out of that programming that other people put upon you to speak, and then you end up speaking what God tells you. They said, well, he didn't know, or he was going through, or what have you. And, well, you know how it goes. And we just, and rub the person who's dying their hands. And no, the person didn't want to change. The person ignored all wise counsel. The person went off and did what he or she wanted to do. The person claimed to be a believer, but yet was living a double life and was living in sin. Let's tell the truth. Tell the truth and quit telling the lies. Somebody keeps telling the lies. You got to confront the liar. Listen, I know the truth. What truth do you know? You don't need to know all of the specifics as to what I know. All you need to know is this. I know the truth. So you can stop telling me that lie. Oh, I'm telling you, the deceased, if they could come back, they would tell you, can you just please tell them the truth about what really happened to me? Can you please just tell them not to do what I did? Can you please just warn so-and-so, because what you didn't know was he too was messing around with the drugs. He too was messing around with the alcohol. Can you please go and talk to so-and-so, because her husband is beating her and I was the only one that she confided in. Can you just, oh, come on. When the deceased shows up in a dream, when the deceased shows up in a vision, when there's a sign or something related to the deceased, you better pay close attention, because there is something going on. It might be satanic, but then it might be something that God wants you to see, because you were so close and you just love that person so. There's a story to tell. Come on, somebody. There's a story to tell. They are dying in vain. Some have already died in vain. All people want to talk about was all of what good she did, all of the beautiful things she bought, how much she cared for her children. No. There's a story to tell. There's a story to tell about her addiction. There's a story to tell about her mental illness. There's a story to tell about how she was used and abused. There's a story to tell about how her children had turned their back on her because she simply was too hard-headed, too bullheaded, too whatever to do what was right by her children. Oh yeah, come on now. There's the story that they tell you, but then there's the story that you dig for. Some of you all need to get my book, Genealogy X. Quit sitting on it. I know God is moving on some of you all to get into that book. I give you insight in terms of how you can get the story behind the story. It's an eye-opening book. It's the type of book that if you really want to know the truth about your family, you go and dig deep. If you really want that peace of mind, if you want to see where the patterns are, if you want to piece together the puzzles when it comes to generational curses, you got God, the Bible, and Genealogy X to help you out. Oh, I'm telling you, this is real. This is real information for you. This isn't sugar coated. This isn't, me just, she just want to say this, that, and the other because it's about whatever you want to put on it. No, I'm telling you this because too many people like to talk about their deceased loved ones, especially at family gatherings, as if it's a fairy tale, if you will, like a once upon a time type of thing. And then at the end of the story, it's always fluffy and beautiful and sweet and nice. The Lord says it's dirty, it's ugly. It was a testimony that should have been given on this side, but they didn't. It was information that they should have warned some folks about, but they didn't. They didn't anticipate that I was going to take them so quickly. They didn't anticipate that we were going to have questions. You see, no, when the deceased loved ones checked out of here, they assumed they was going to be here. Oh, I'm going to be here. Some of them didn't even make it to 40. Others didn't make it to 50. And others, they thought they were going to live till 70 plus and they didn't. Pay closer attention to the photos. I'm hearing in the spirit. Look at what's sitting behind the photo. Look at whether the photo was altered. Look at what's sitting on a table. Look at the little writing. Oh, there's some stories behind stories. I don't care if the photo is of the deceased in the environment where they died or whether it's them sitting there with a bunch of other people. You need to pay close attention to what you're looking at. God, he reveals a lot of things in so many different ways. Pay attention to that story that this one told you, and then this other one told you another story, and then you need to piece together some things. You got to be able to discern facts from fiction. You've got to do your due diligence when it comes to your family history. Deceased loved ones. Teach once again the young people the life lesson that is in that loved one's passing. There is one. And if you don't know what it is, you need to be praying. And for some of you all, you need to give up some food for a day or for some hours to dig deep, to draw near with the Lord, and to allow him to prepare your mind mentally, physically, and spiritually for what is ahead. Because sometimes there are things that's uncovered once a loved one passes away that are quite disturbing, that will shake a family up, that might even cause a family to want to distance themselves from others. And you need to be ready for it when it comes, if that one hasn't passed away yet. And for those who have already passed away and you keep finding one problem after one problem, or it's turning into some kind of horror show, you definitely need to draw near to the Lord. And that comes with praying. That comes from being around the like-minded. That comes from professional counselors who can help you with grief. And that might even come from a private investigator who can do some research for you. But whatever way that support comes, be sure that you're praying. Well, that is it. Blessings to you. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube Interim Enterprise 7. Subscribe today. Also, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations. And thank you in advance for your generous giving. To God be the glory.